Okay, so first one we're going to factor. So I'm going to factor using the mistake method if you did the quadratic formula. Okay. Or if you did the other method of factoring, the diamond method, that's fine as well. So I just like the mistake method because it's simple. So I'm going to multiply my first term times my last term. That's going to give me a negative 40. And then I want my factors of negative 40. So I'm going to go put my x here and here that are going to add to negative 3. So did anybody get those? 3 doesn't go in. 4 and 10. 5 and 8. Right? So 5 minus 8 would give me a negative 3. So I'm going to put plus 5 minus 8. And then my mistake method, I have a 10 in front of the x. So take the 10, put it underneath your two numbers, and simplify. So, and since I'm solving here, I actually don't have to move the bottom number here. So I'll show you this. So 5 over 10 simplifies to 1/2. So this is x plus 1/2. You don't need to move the 2 here because you're actually solving. So if you just go x plus 1/2 equals 0, subtract the 1/2, x equals negative 1/2. And then 8 over 10 would simplify to 4/5. Same thing here. So you get x minus 4/5 equals 0. And then add the 4/5 to both sides. And you get x equals 4/5. So your two answers here are going to be negative 1/2, positive 4/5. All right, next one, we are completing the square. That's a little bright. Okay. So let's isolate the constant, which is that's minus 18. So I'm going to add, didn't change the color, did I? Hold on. We'll go there. Okay. I'm going to add 18 to both sides. That's going to give me x squared minus 8x. I'm going to leave a little bit of room. Equals 18. Okay, then I'm going to do my complete the square step. So b is going to be negative 8 in this case. So I'm going to go negative 8 over 2, and I'm going to square it. So negative 8 over 2 would give me a negative 4. Negative 4 squared is going to give me a positive 16. So I'm going to take that 16, and I'm going to add it to both sides. Okay, then I'm going to factor here. So x squared minus 8x plus 16 would factor to what? Yes, x minus 4 squared, because that's negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. Negative 4 minus 4 gives you that negative 8. And then 18 plus 16 is 34. And then we will solve using the square root method. So we'll take the square root, both sides. Square root cancels the square out. X minus 4 comes out of the parentheses. Equals, leave a little bit of space, plus or minus square root of 34. Solve for x, so we'll add the 4 to both sides. So we get a positive 4 over here. 4 plus radical 34. And I think 34 is 134 and 2 and 17. So I don't think there are any perfect squares that can go in. Did anybody find anything? No? So then that would be it. 4 plus or minus radical 34. Now this one, number 3, always trips people up. Okay, so be ready for this one. And I always put one on the test like this. And I think this is supposed to be a 2 as well. So let me fix that. Looks like a little typo there. So that's a negative 2 right there. Okay. So first thing you're going to do, you have negative exponents. You have to simplify the negative exponents first, which means that this x to the negative 2 drops into the bottom as x squared. The 4 does not drop with it. That negative 2 is only with the x. Yeah, it was a typo. Yeah. So this becomes 4 over x squared. That's the first term. Same thing here. This x to the negative 1, that's got to come down as an x to the positive 1. The 3 doesn't go with it, okay, because the negative 1 is only touching the x. So then that becomes plus 3 over x. We don't need the 1 there. And then plus 1 over 1 equals 0. Okay, so now I look like this. So now what I have to do is I have to find an LCD. What is my LCD going to be here? X squared. Good. So you just x squared. You already have an x in there, so it's x squared. So multiply the numerator of each term by x squared. You can multiply the 0 also, which is going to be 0. It would be, so x squared, this already has an x to the first, so that would go into x squared, and 1 also divides into it because it's an understood 1 in front of the x squared. Good question. So anytime we're dealing with exponents, basically just take the largest exponent. So if there were like an x to the 5th and then an x, it would be x to the 5th. Okay, so then we'll cancel some things. So these x squareds are going to cancel each other out. We get a 4 that comes down. This is an x to the first, so this is 2 minus 1 here. So this basically just gets rid of one of these x's. So that's going to be a 3x. And then nothing happens here, so this is an x squared. And 0 times x squared is 0. Okay, so now this is what your problem looks like. You can rearrange it. I like to rearrange it, okay? It's a positive x squared, so x squared, positive 3x, positive 4 equals 0. Okay, rearrange that. Then solve. So can I, oh man, I can't factor because it's positive. So, and completing the square. You can complete the square when it's an odd number here. It's just harder because it's a fraction. So let's just go ahead and do the quadratic formula for this one. All right, so we've got A is going to be 1, B 3, and C 4. So we've got negative 3 plus or minus 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times 4 over 2 times 1. And then we will simplify. So 3 squared is going to be a 9 minus 16. That gives you negative 7. So negative 3 plus or minus the square root of negative 7 over 2. Then we'll want to take that negative, make it a plus, and then put your I on the outside of the radical. So you have negative 3 plus or minus I radical 7 over 2. And that's your answer. All right, I think we got time for this last one. We might go a little over. All right, factor what you can in the bottom here. So let's get this in a simplified terms here. So x squared minus 7x plus 12. What multiplies to 12 and adds to negative 7? Yeah, x minus 3, x minus 4. X plus 4 is fine. X squared minus 16. That's x plus 4, x minus 4. Okay, I'm going to write the problem out. So I've got 1 over x minus 3, x minus 4. I'm going to leave room. Equals 1 over x plus 4 plus 5 over x plus 4, x minus 4. All right, so what I want to do here, identify your LCD. So when we're talking about factors here, one of each factor, you need an x minus 3. You need an x minus 4. You need an x plus 4. Oopsie. There we go. You have an x plus 4 already written, and you have an x minus 4 already written. So if you just go through the factors, write each of them once, unless it's squared, then you would keep it squared, and then you're good to go. So this is our LCD. Multiply the numerator of each term by that LCD. So I'm going to write next to each term x minus 3, x minus 4, x plus 4. Okay, then we get to do the fun part, cross things out. So x minus 3's cancel in the first one, and x minus 4's. I'm left with an x plus 4 just by itself, times 1. Then we have equals, x plus 4's cancel out here, so I have an x minus 3 times x minus 4. Then we've got, let's see, x plus 4's cancel, x minus 4's cancel. I have 5 times x minus 3. Fractions are gone. Now we can start working the problem. So on the right, I'm going to want to multiply this out. So let's see, I've got x times x squared, x times negative 4, negative 4x. Negative 3 times x, negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 4, positive 12. Let's see, I'll go ahead and do this too. 5 times x, positive 5x. 5 times negative 3, negative 15. So let's combine like terms. Got x squared. I've got negative 4x minus 3x. That's a negative 7 plus 5x. So negative 7 plus 5 would give me a negative 2x. And then 12 minus 15 is negative 3. Don't forget about the x plus 4 over here, though. Bring that down. It's quadratic, so I have to set it equal to 0. So this x, I'm going to subtract that from both sides. And this 4. So this side is cleared. I've got 0 on this side. And then on this side, I've got x squared. Negative 2 minus 1 will be negative 3x. And negative 3 minus 4 will give me a negative 7. That's not going to factor. It's an odd number in the middle, so we'll do the quadratic formula again. So I'll have A, 1, B, negative 3, C, negative 7. And let's see, I've got x equals negative b, so negative negative 3. That'll be a positive 3. Plus or minus square root of negative 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 7 over 2 times 1. Okay, so let's see. Negative 3 squared is going to give us a positive 9. Minus, then I've got 4 times 1 times negative 7. That's a negative 28. That double negative will turn into plus. You have 9 plus 28. So 3 plus or minus square root of 37 over 2. 37's prime. So that's simplified. And that's it for 1.5. There you go.